And welcome to our December edition of Sports Highlights. Happy holidays. My name is Greg Picaveras. Our program since February of 1992. It airs on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47, 517. And for more, log on to NNPS-TV.com, at Sports Highlight, at Greg Big on Twitter. All about students on this first segment: Morgan Merritt, Lauren Satchel, Julia Cook, all making it happen on set. Menchfield field hockey players, how are you?
Good. Thank you.
Let's start off with Morgan. Morgan, how did you get involved in field hockey?
When I was younger, my brother grew up with a lot of girls who played field hockey, and so, they come over to my house a lot, and they just got me involved in the game, and I started playing rec, especially with these two, with Mystic Waves, and that's where it all began.
So you are kind of besties.
Yeah.
Very good. Lauren, how about you?
My mom actually played at Mary Baldwin, so she was my coach for Mystic Waves for all of us, and I just had an interest in it and started playing. So.
Julia?
Same thing with Morgan. I had older girls in my neighborhood that played, and then I just started playing with them, and then I wasn't too good at field, so I joined goalie, and that's how I've played goalie ever since. So.
Talk about this past season. You made the postseason. How would you characterize it?
It was really exciting, especially since Menchfield has never been to state, so making history at our school and setting that benchmark for future teams is a really great thing to do.
Was it more pressure did you feel in the regionals in the state?
I would say so. We had a younger team this year with a bunch of freshmen, but they came in and played awesome, so I was really proud of our team.
And what position did you play?
I played goalie.
Very good.
So.
Now, we talked about how hard that ball is.
Yeah.
It's not a Nerf ball. Talk about it and how you get it more than anybody.
Yeah, so with all the gear on and stuff, they all think it's fun and games and they really hit, and I can take it, I'm fine with it, but sometimes you get to a spot where there's barely any padding, or it's really thin, and it stings a little bit. But I have bruises to prove it, but I love the sport, so I've gotten used to it.
Talk about the equipment a typical girl wears as far as protective equipment for field hockey.
In high school, you have to wear goggles and always a mouth guard, shin guards, because getting hit in those places is going to hurt. So.
And Lauren, you've gotten hit before, right?
Oh, plenty of times.
When you recommend field hockey for an incoming freshman girl, what would you recommend?
I guess just, playing safe, trying new things, because a lot of girls, when they first start playing, they're afraid to try to get better. And, with our JV team, I try to tell them, don't be afraid to make mistakes and practice in games, because this is where you have to learn.
And the JV team did really good this year. I think they won most of their games as a group for a JV team at Menchfield. So it was really good.
Let's talk about that. It's kind of a unique situation where the head coach and the JV coach are sisters, correct?
Yes.
Well, talk about your head coach. What did you like about her the most?
Well, I love my coach. She's awesome. She's always has a positive attitude towards us, and she always gives us the encouragement to try new things and do our best. So.
And the determination, if our goal was states this year, and we went to states, and she gave us the pieces to get there, and she helped us, and then at the end of it, she couldn't have been more proud of us, and I think that all in all, as with her pushing us, that really made us go as far as we did.
And one of our team things is accountability. So she's really good with some coaches are really nice and just say, oh, okay, you're fine, but she will, of course, discipline us and make sure we're doing everything right, and I think it's not a bad thing. It challenges us, and I think it makes it more fun.
We're talking about Coach Kuykendall.
Yes.
Right, y'all call her Coach K.
Yes.
All right, for you, young lady, you won several awards. Talk about your
Yes.
awards for the public that doesn't know about it.
For the past 3 years, I've gotten District Player of the Year, past 2 years, Regional Player of the Year. I think All-State 3 times, first team, All-Region, All-District. So.
She's a goalie?
I'm a forward, I play forward.
Midfielder.
The forwards usually, in soccer, they're the ones who score a lot. Is it the same way kind of in field hockey?
Yes, sir.
Right. When you talk about some of y'all's opponents that gave you a tough time in the district, who were they?
Gloucester,
Gloucester.
Maury, Nansen
Yeah.
River.
Yeah, what was it about Gloucester? Kind of a rivalry there.
Yes.
Gloucester,
Yeah.
yeah.
So none of the Newport U schools are rivalries for you?
Like we have a rivalry with Warwick and everything because it's like a Minchville thing. So it's like more Minchville, Warwick, like kind of butt heads all the time. But Gloucester's like for field hockey, Gloucester's our school.
Now talk about the time and the rules, like how long does a typical match last for?
Oh, an hour.
Yeah.
But as far as their time limit?
No, not really. Because if it's tied by the end of the game, we go into overtime, 7v7, and if still no one scored, 7v7 again, and then we go into 8 seconds, 10 seconds.
Very nice. We're talking to Morgan Merritt, Lauren Satchel, Julia Cook, senior, junior, and junior, of course. When you talk about field hockey as a sport, you just don't show up the day before practice and expect to have your game won. It's something you kind of do year round, isn't it?
Yes.
We'll talk about what you do after the season's over.
Well, I play club, so a lot of the girls on the team play club to improve their skills and keep in shape and keep their skills up. So, and also during the summer we condition, so we're usually doing something year round.
Yeah.
What about you?
We all play the same travel team together, so when we're not playing with Minchville, we do that and other sports. So
Same thing. We're on the same travel team, and most of like the girls on the travel team are a part of Minchville field hockey as well.
Look, y'all made the state. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Team bonding is very important, whether it's football, basketball, cheerleading, baseball, soccer. What did you enjoy about your team, and how many years did you play on the team?
I think not only like has it made me into a better player, but I made so many friendships, like especially these two. Like I've gotten so close to people over the past 4 years that it's just normal for me to hang out. We all always hang out together outside of school, even outside of season. So.
Right. Y'all kind of like go out to eat together,
Yeah.
shop
all the
together, do
time.
all that stuff.
yeah.
Well, as far as, you mentioned the bonding, it's important because a lot of it's communication on the game. And if y'all know each other and y'all are friends, that makes it easier on game day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
How about the school support and your parent support?
Parent support is phenomenal.
Yeah.
With like the school support too, with our principals and like all the administration is really like, it's like it's a home. Like with parent support, like at the games and everything, it's just
They're always
Yeah, they're
involved.
always there.
Does that make you feel better when you have a packed
Yeah.
house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We love looking at sidelines and seeing our teachers and administrators and stuff
Friends
supporting
always
us.
come.
And they're
Yeah.
into it. It's not like they're just there. Like they're
It's on
cheering
the-
us on, staying the whole time, making
awesome.
trips out to away games to see us play.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good, makes you smile. And
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
younger girls are watching you guys too as well. And as far as when you talk about your future plans, talk about JMU.
Actually, today I just signed with JMU, so I'll play there for the next 4 years and hopefully.
Breaking it right here, folks, for the December show. We got Morgan Merritt breaking it right here on Sports Highlights. She is going to be at JMU Duke. Congratulations. Thank you. Of course, take it easy when you play George Mason if you play them. That's where I went to school. But you're a junior. What have you thought about college already?
Yes, sir. I'm actually also committed to play at James Madison University.
Okay.
So.
And their uniforms are pretty similar to Menchville's, right?
Yeah.
Purple,
purple,
gold,
same
white.
colors.
It's only a few hours away. And
Yeah.
nice ski resorts there as well. How about you, Julia?
I'm not committed anywhere yet, but I am looking.
Right. You don't want to go too far away from home. Right?
Yeah, kind of.
Right. Well, let's talk about what do you like to do for fun away from field hockey?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we also do track, which I know it's like more sports, but
Yeah.
I feel like our life like revolves around sports. But
It does. How about you?
I do like other clubs like Young Life and stuff and track.
Very
So
nice.
I do tennis, and then I also like do Young Life and other clubs.
yeah,
Very nice. All right. How do y'all balance academics, athletics, activities, and each one of you tell us your GPA?
Oh, my GPA is a 4.12,
Wow.
and then our coaches are so like supportive. They know that academics come first, and they understand if we have to stay after for like a study thing or a test. Like they're completely like understanding.
my GPA is a 3.7, and our coaches, like she said, understand like if we have things after school. But teachers are always there to help us with after school activities and stuff, and they understand if we have to come late because they want us to be involved into our schools. So.
Yeah, my GPA is a 3.4. With like field hockey and stuff, like with traveling with Coach K, with like on bus rides there, like we do homework, or it's like if at practice or before practice, we like sit sometimes if we have time in her room and do it, especially.
Right.
So.
Does it make it easier to, the computer is available for you? Like, do y'all do a lot of work when you're on the road on your laptop or your iPad? Talk about how you do it on the road.
I have an online class, so I do a lot of it on my laptop or just looking at my phone, reading books or something.
Sometimes I just like look ahead to see what I have, and I bring that stuff with me. So.
Right. And the main thing is y'all are having fun, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That's good. All right, cool. Well, all the best. Give us your final record for the year. You had a winning record, of course.
It's good.
Yeah.
And
Two
who did y'all end
losses.
up losing to in the States?
Lost.
Deep run. We lost to in-state.
Yeah.
Right. But you had to travel a little bit there, too, as well.
Yes, we did.
Right, that was not easy to travel, but y'all did good. Congratulations. You made your
you.
school proud for being in the state. Very few schools ever make the state, and all three of y'all should be proud, as well as your teammates and your coaches, and your parents, too. All right, I want to thank Morgan Merritt, Lauren Satchel, Julia Cook, excellent Menchfield field hockey players, all have great GPAs, and they all represented their school very well for our December holiday edition. And as Morgan said, she's going to be going to James Madison. She broke it right here on Sports Highlights. Stay tuned. And welcome back to our second segment of Sports Highlights, our December show. Glad you're with us. At Greg Bick on Twitter, at Sports Highlight. Hope you enjoyed our Menchfield field hockey players. This is our December holiday 2018 edition. Happy holidays to everybody. Let's welcome now Dorian Hart. He's the Woodside head boys volleyball coach. Good to see you.
All right, thank you.
How did you get involved in volleyball?
Well, it all started out back in 2007. I was actually previously coaching the girls' JV basketball team. And our athletic director at the time, Al Dorner, kind of liked what he saw, how I worked with the girls. I was able to encourage and motivate. And then an opening came available with the volleyball team. I told him I would do it on a one-year basis till he could find another coach. I hadn't had any prior volleyball experience, and neither as a player nor a coach. So I came on as 1 year, and here we are 12 years later. Haven't been able to give it up. So.
It seems like volleyball, some of the Olympic sports are less stressful than football and basketball. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah, I would agree with that. As far as, well, it has its give and takes. I mean, as far as conditioning goes, we just obviously want to focus on a different skill set. Maybe not as much, weight room, but, we still focus a lot on plyometrics. Got to strengthen them legs, a lot of flexibility in the arms, strengthen the shoulders. So, it has its differences.
Talk about your team, some of the tough competition you had this year, and of course you made the postseason.
Yes, we did. This year, Warwick was the team to beat. Typically, Woodside's at the top. We've been at the top. We're accustomed to being at the top. We've been down the last couple years, but this year was a bounce-back year for us. Warwick won. We finished tied for second in the district with Heritage at a 13-3 district record. We qualified for the postseason as a 6th seed, ultimately lost to a decent Grassfield team, 3-1.
Do you like playing teams from both sides of the water?
Definitely, especially with this new conference alignment. That kind of changed a lot of things for our program. Being able to see them in the regular season helps us out for the postseason. Unfortunately, being Conference 6 for Woodside, we don't see any of the teams in the Peninsula District come to playoff time. Unlike other schools, Conference 5, Conference 4, there's a lot of schools that they get to see, potentially see again in the playoffs. Pretty much, we play our regular season against district opponents. And then when the playoffs come, we're playing the Chesapeakes, the Virginia Beaches. So we try to get them in during the regular season if we can, either play them in some form of a jamboree or summer tournament. So we try to see them when we can.
It just takes some time to get across the bridge tunnel, right?
Definitely. Yeah, especially depending on what day of the week it is. Yeah, both bridges can be an issue, yes.
We're talking to Dorian Hart. He's the Woodside head boys volleyball coach, coaches a lot of different sports at Woodside. Who stood out this year? Some of the players that you stood out.
Our key was Tyler Makikow. He's a junior. I've had him 2 years in the program. Last year he had the potential to be very good, but he was one of those, and I would tell him he's a practice player. He looked like an All-American at practice, and he was just okay in the games. So before the season started, I made it very clear what we needed from him, what the expectations were, if we were going to be successful. And he was arguably the best player in the district this year. He brought it every night. and the results showed. And next year, watch out.
Yeah, Woodside made the postseason in football, of course, losing to Lansdowne, and of course you guys made the postseason. Who did you end up losing to?
We ended up losing to Grassfield, so we ended up playing the first round. We had to travel to them. But it was a good experience for the boys. We did not make the postseason last year,
right.
So we were able to build off of that for this year, and next year we have high expectations next year.
Right, you only coach one sport now.
Now I do. I actually coached JV girls basketball for 9 years under the tutelage of Mike Talon. I also coached JV softball for 6 years, again with Mike Talon, and now I'm entering year 12 with volleyball. So
you're your own boss now.
Yeah, pretty
very
much,
nice.
Yes.
Of course, you got a brand new athletic director, of course, Paul Macklin.
Paul Macklin, yes, he's adjusted well. He came in second semester of last school year, just kind of feeling things out. He's been working really hard. He's kept himself in the building, just becoming accustomed to the Woodside way and how we do things. So.
Right. Of course, you're part of the Woodside way, and Paul is an excellent pedigree. Of course, his brother played for Penn State as well. So you're talking, and of course, the Colts too. Talking to Dorian Hart, what advice would you give a kid that wants to play volleyball, boy or girl?
First off, I would encourage them to play multiple sports. Don't get locked in on just one sport. And a lot of kids get that mentality, and I was guilty of that coming up in high school too. I'm going to play this sport in college. Let me just stick with that sport. But there's a lot of data out that suggests playing multiple sports actually helps you in every sport.
Yeah.
There's different things you work on that can be applied. Keep an open mind. If you're not involved in a fall sport, obviously it conflicts with football. I've had a handful of guys every year on the football team that could help us on the volleyball team, but obviously we had a conflict there as far as the seasons go. But if you're not playing a fall sport, get out there. Volleyball is a great sport. It's fun. It's intense. And what better sport is there where you can hit the ball off someone's face and it'd be considered a good thing as far as a kill goes.
What about your background in high school and college?
High school, I'm local. I went to Denby for 2 years, and then Woodside was built. I was given the option of staying at Denby or going to Woodside. First year, everything's new. Be the first with every first graduating class. So I went to Denby. Went to Woodside, where I played basketball under Craig Davis for 2 years. Played a year of football under Bob Smith. Went on to college. Again, mainly just intramural route through ODU. Graduated health and phys ed major from ODU. And then I got the phone call to come back to Woodside. So it was a no-brainer for me to accept that position.
That's home for you. Of course, Bob Schmidt coached football at Denby and Woodside both. He was the coach before Danny Dawson was.
Correct.
Woodside's got a great athletic program. The football team is always good. The basketball team's won state championships before. It's on the rise.
Yes, definitely. Across the board, and I attribute that to our administration. I attribute that to our athletic directors from the past, and Paul's going to continue that. We have high expectations from all our coaches and all our student athletes.
Right, talking to Dorian Hart. As far as the future, how do you train the girls to prepare during the off season? Because like I was telling the field hockey girls before you came on, you can't just show up before practice the day before. You can't do that for basketball or football either.
Correct. So with my boys, be it that with the new VHSO rules where you can go year round, it's a blessing and a curse from a sense. I've had a lot of boys that have played soccer and baseball, which is obviously during the springtime. So it's right before the fall's getting ready to start. So a lot of times I don't get my boys until the summer. I've had a few boys that play basketball. Obviously they're not available in the winter season as well. But those that want to be in the gym, I'll find gym space and we'll get in there and we'll just work on some fundamentals and until everyone's able to join us in the summer at the conclusion of the spring season.
And volleyball's popular in the summer and the Olympics as well.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And a lot of kids don't realize that. Volleyball, it's a great, exciting sport. I've never played, but I'm a fan of all sports. But once I started coaching, I developed a new love for it. And, I encourage every kid I see in the hallway that I feel could benefit us that's not playing a sport, come on out, and I'll teach you what you need to know to be productive.
Very good. Dorian, thank you for your time, your talent, and your treasure about volleyball. All the best to the Wolverines of the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dorian Hart right there. Stay tuned for our next guest right here at Johnny Orlando on Sports Highlights.
Increase your fitness with Alexis. Tune in weekdays 6:30 a.m., Mondays 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m.
And welcome to our December edition of Sports Highlights. Glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed our Menchfield field hockey players, as well as the Woodside head boys volleyball coach, Greg Piccaveras. Glad you're with us since February of 1992, at Greg Pick on Twitter, at Sports Highlight. It's a pleasure now to interview Johnny Orlando, who's a J-Stock Hydro Racer. Johnny, good to see you. How are you?
I'm actually doing good today.
Very good, very good. Tell us about your age and what grade you're in.
I'm 12-year-old. I go to Greenbrier Middle School, and I'm in 7th grade.
Very nice, very nice. Well, how did you get involved in powerboat racing?
I first went to the Hampton Roads Regatta when I was a tiny little baby, when my grandfather took me. He's been going since he was a small child. And then just last year, 2 years ago, we went to see if we can get a ride in one of the bigger boats, because some of them have 2 different seats. But then they didn't have enough to run the passenger riding. So we went to this lady that was a part of the learning school where she teaches little young kids to drive boats. And my grandfather talked to them without telling our parents. He only told me. And then we started to get a J-Stock boat to race tomorrow.
And your grandfather, he's a big Red Sox fan, right?
Yeah.
He loves the Red Sox. All right,
Me
well,
too.
how serious are you about this sport?
I think I'm pretty serious about this sport. I think I'm going to do 3 to 4 races every year.
Wow, okay. Well, what are your goals for next year?
My goals for next year are to win 3 to 4 races and also the Hampton Roads Regatta.
Is it kind of overwhelming to be in the water? And are you by yourself on the boat, or are there some other body with you as well?
So I am by myself on the boat, and it is pretty stressful to be on the boat by yourself in your first time, in your first lap, but then after that, it's all just a breeze.
And they interviewed you this past September at the regatta too, correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you were talking about your parents and how much support you've gotten from your family and stuff. When you practice, how often do you practice?
I don't practice too much, but I do practice a little bit in the Northern Virginia with my dad.
Very nice. What advice would you give to other kids that want to do this?
If you're a kid and you want to do this, you can do anything in the world you want to do. You just have to keep your mind set to it.
That's unbelievable. And what is, as far as other sports you like to play, and you also like to play music too. Talk about what else you like to do besides powerboat racing.
So I do wrestle. I'm a captain on the wrestling team this year. I'm a cellist in the Greenbrier Middle School Orchestra, and I also surf.
You have a busy day. Your day starts early and it ends late sometimes, right?
Yes.
I take it you like your school?
Yes, sir, I do.
Very good. What is your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is probably history. I like just all the facts, and it's cut and dry, and there's nothing like to defy against it.
The straight facts. What part of history do you like the most? Is there a certain time frame you like?
I like World War II.
Very nice. Of course, 1939 to 1945. And you talk about being in the water. It must be a very liberating, nice feeling to be out there in the fresh air and the water. You must love that.
Yes, I do. The feeling when the salty air hits your face when you're going really fast in the race boat, when you forgot to flip your visor down, it just feels so good.
Right. Talk about some of your hobbies away from sports and music.
So I do play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't play too many video games. I study a lot also.
Right. You mentioned your grandfather and you were both Red Sox fans. They've won a lot lately, haven't they?
They won the series.
Yeah. What do you like about them the most?
I like Mookie Betts. He's one of my role models.
Very nice, very nice. So, with all your busy schedule, being a young kid, and how do you balance academics, athletics, and activities?
Well, recently cello and wrestling have been running into each other, so we had a compromise, and I had to do 30 minutes of orchestra and the rest with wrestling.
Very nice, very nice. So it's not always easy. Some days are better than others. But what do you enjoy the most? Do you enjoy the music or do you enjoy the hydro racing?
Over music, I enjoy hydro racing, but I think I enjoy wrestling the most.
What about talk about what a certain weight you wrestle, or how does it work?
I
in
wrestle
wrestling?
86 pounds. Last year I wrestled 74.
Right, and of course you have mentors that have helped you in
Yes.
sports. Talk about some of your mentors.
My grandfather is mainly my mentor. He wrestled when he was a kid. He's really the backbone of our family.
Right. Well, you talk about family how important it is to have that support. Does it make you feel better when you have your family there supporting you and
It does.
makes you feel better? Because like I said, when you're in a boat in the water all by yourself, it's kind of you and your thoughts, and you have to have good positive thoughts, right?
Yes.
You know, when you talk about that. Well, as far as the future, you mentioned high school. What high school do you plan on going to?
I plan on getting in the STEM Academy and going to Grassfield High School, but if I do not get into that academy, I'll be going to Indian River High School.
What do you know about the STEM Academy?
Well, I want to be an aerospace engineer when I grow up, and I do a lot of STEM camps and robotics camps.
That's a lot of fun. Talk about what you enjoy about that the most as far as the engineering. What do you enjoy the most?
So I really like making the rockets the most, and I really like making robots and doing battle bots too.
Have you made a lot yourself?
I've made a lot of rockets, but I've only made 2 battle bots.
Okay, cool. How'd you get involved in that, and what made you interested in that? You must like math and science both.
I like history the most, though.
But you do, okay.
So, yeah.
But that's kind of like there's taking math and science to do that though. That's not easy. So you must have some love for it.
So I got into aeronautics by, I think my mom, she really wanted me to do this space camp, and then I was like, yeah, I think I really do want to do this. And then I went to it one year, and after that, I really wanted to go to it again and again and again.
So it's all fun. That's the key.
It's a lot of
As long
fun.
as you're having fun, that's the main thing. And of course, your mom Ashley's here in the studio today, and we appreciate it, Johnny. Thank you for coming on the show, and all the best. And you gave some good advice for the younger kids, and keep on keeping on, right? Right. All right. Very good. That's Johnny Orlando right there, folks. He's a young kid, J-Stock Hydra racer. Some people never get in the boat or in the water. Here he is, 7th grade, getting in the boat in the water by himself. So that's a good holiday segment, good way to end the show. I want to thank our great guests today, Morgan Merritt, Lauren Satchel, Julia Cook, Dorian Hart, and of course, Johnny Orlando. For Ray Price, the entire great crew, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Thanks for watching our December show. Happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon.